Alright, so a few days ago I made a video about the God of War OG Platinum Trophy, and that was, so much fun. Which is why today I decided to do the same thing but for the sequel, God of War 2. This game is quote-unquote easier in terms of trophies compared to the first one. However, it is still amazingly frustrating and has some of the most confusing puzzles throughout the game from start to finish. Now I am dumb, but I'm not that dumb, and this game was just confusing. It does have 35 total trophies in it, however, and sadly lots of missables, mostly from collectibles though, so that's not too bad. This is also a part of my challenge to platinum pretty much every single notable single player game that I haven't already before I hit 800,000 subscribers, because I have no life, so make sure to drop a like and subscribe. It first opens up taking off a bit after the first game's conclusion. Essentially, Kratos has been on a vengeance trip, just taking over land like nothing else, and also not listening or even acknowledging the god's existence and doing whatever he wanted to, basically. Which in turn made them all angry at Kratos and see him as a direct threat, and that is why they then take away Kratos' god powers. However, we were left with still a lot of natural power because, I mean, this is Kratos we are talking about here. But yeah, this entire game is kind of all about Kratos having no real godlike powers and trying to claw his way back to fight Zeus and kill him because Zeus is just out for Kratos right now. But the entire intro here had us fighting alongside other Spartans in a city we were trying to take over for Sparta. That is until Zeus made this giant statue come to life and then fight us for quite some time. Mostly because I couldn't figure out how to further the fight. Eventually I did, however, and we made it inside the statue, which of course was the only way to actually destroy it. Once it was destroyed, however, Zeus flew on down from the heavens and basically just destroyed Kratos. Yeah, we died, but then a Titan came into our mind and gave us this prophecy, sort of just saying that our destiny has way more in store and the journey is not done. So we got a chance to yet again crawl away from death, and once we did, I got the first trophy of the game right here. Kratos then got given a Pegasus from one of the Titans to ride because it is the only creature that can get him to the Sisters of Fate, which is the goal for this entire game. We have to make it to them and turn back time to before Zeus came against Kratos, seeing as surprising him is the only chance we have at taking down Zeus. And that's the plot for the whole game, so now let's do puzzles and fight enemies for the next 12 hours straight, okay? The next trophy I got popped once I made it to a large stone Titan, and it was just from landing in his home, I guess. I then got another one only a few minutes later from me upgrading a weapon for the first time. There was also a trophy gotten much later from upgrading all of the weapons in Magic Total, but that is much easier in this game opposed to the first one. Mostly because your orbs carry over to the new game plus, and also the challenge mode, which has a ton of orbs if you need them. Eventually, inside the Titan's home we have been in, we got forced to battle him because he is of course in our way, and we can't have none of that. But fighting a Titan made of stone is not easy, since doing damage is very hard because he is just rock hard, you know what I'm saying. Which is why Kratos went straight for his eyes, his only weak point pretty much. Kind of a low move, but this is war, anything goes. And after we legit just took out one of his eyes, it also yielded us the first magic power of the day, that being Typhoon Bane. This is like an imaginary bow and arrow type magic move and very convenient. Anyways, that magic power was actually needed for the story, and we had to shoot down this poor lad who was condemned to infinite torture by Zeus. But upon him falling into the lava below, he saved his fate and also got given the Rage of Titans. This is essentially just the generic rage boost in every God of War game. However, just getting it was a trophy. I then made my way to these giant ass horses that can travel time or something. I honestly don't know, I wasn't listening that closely. But there was a man guarding the entrance to the building I needed to get to, and this dude was also the final boss I needed to take down before getting the Boss Batch 1 trophy. This game decided to batch together bosses for trophies, usually in sets of 3. No idea why, but they did. My next trophy was then only a few minutes after that, and it was called Blue Balls, a man's worst nightmare. But there was no woman involved, sadly, this time. Oh no, it's just from unlocking the Cronus Rage magic power, which is similar to the previous game in terms of it is just lightning bolts that get sent out at enemies. Love to see it. I also literally just spammed it over and over right here because the magic bar is always infinite when the game is giving you them for the first time, and this magic power does a load of hits on enemies, so I managed to get well over a 500 combo score for this trophy relating to that. And after that, I then had everything I needed in order to control the Steeds of Time. However, sadly, those damn horses brought us over to the next area, which almost completely was just composed of endless puzzles, and I wanted to cry. Eventually, I managed to get both of these rock things over to the area they were needed to off-balance this grotto kind of thing, and I got a trophy from doing that, but also my Wi-Fi started to just fail, and the game was like super laggy and low quality for a while. Don't we just love game streaming? Seriously, why would PlayStation not just let these games be downloaded? I don't understand the benefit of having them be stream only. It's actually so retarded.
That's what I'm saying.
However, even with bad Wi-Fi and an even more below quality game, the show must go on. So I just kept on playing and praying that it wouldn't crash and I lose my progress. I ended up battling this giant enemy called Cerberus, which is just a fancy name for a three-headed dog. Must be from Alabama or something. Anyways, upon defeating it, you reach inside its throat and pull out the golden fleece, which is used to block attacks that weren't previously available to block and is also a trophy. You also use it to block a lot of story things in addition, like this door right here, which once successfully opened gives this trophy also. Whilst inside this new area, I then managed to find the last Gorgon eye I needed for the trophy from getting them all and maximum health. Thank God we didn't miss that one, bro. And like usual, a few minutes later, I found the head of Eureli, which is just a fancy item that allows us to freeze enemies to stone, and it works just like in the previous game, but it was a trophy, so whatever. And I ended up actually just farming kills using that power-up because it's one of the only combat trophies relating to magic items in the game, and I got 30 people frozen and killed with it right here. There was then a boss battle against a somewhat hard enemy, but only because the idiot got given the ability to just be invisible. Plot twist: there is no enemy, and it's just Kratos battling the voices in his head. Now that would be crazy. But actually, this boss was the final one inside of Boss Batches 2's trophy requirements, and here is that pop once I did it. I then reached a quite difficult parkour section, but it basically just had us swing around like Spider-Man if Spider-Man wasn't a frail skinny boy named Tom Holland. And here's the trophy once I made it past all that. That parkour section, by the way, led us right into Icarus's home, and we then fought him whilst falling for infinite amounts of time. The fight is very simple though, you just punch him in the face until he dies. And we also ripped off his magic wings, letting us fly now. What the hell is happening? I don't know. But I do know that about 10 minutes later I found my last feather in the game, maxing out magic and getting this very missable trophy pop. I am, by the way, inside of a place called Atlas, and inside of Atlas there was a giant fight against the first Titan Minotaur of the game. But upon beating him by spamming attacks, you get a trophy called Rock Hard. Whoever made this trophy list must have been one horny son of a bitch, I swear. Anyways, we then finally confronted Atlas in a sort of battle against him, but this also gave us the last magic power we have yet to get, that being the Atlas Quake. At this point in the story, we also managed to reach the Palace of Fates, but there was a giant battle simply just outside of it, and you get a story trophy from just winning that, so cool beans. I then had to do a puzzle with some Phoenix statue that I shamelessly had to Google how to do because I just can't figure out anything in this game, man. It drove me insane. I could have probably shaved off 3 hours of my playtime if I just had any clue what the hell was going on at any point in time. But upon solving this puzzle, I got a trophy. I then managed to solve yet again more puzzles, this time being how to open the Wings of Fate. And this is just a statue that allows us to move further into the Temple of Fate, but the trophy was called Spread 'em. I stand by my statement saying whoever made this trophy list was horny as shit because I was right. And a few minutes later, inside one of the ending areas of the game, I got every single Uber chest there was. I have no idea what these really do, but there was like 3 of them and it's very missable, so here's that trophy. Oh yeah, and I finally managed to do every puzzle here in this area and awaken the Phoenix, which was again a trophy. And then about an hour later, I went with no trophies until making it to the only time limited one in the entire game. You have to fight your way down this path to the entrance of the Loom chamber in under 10 minutes, which is not hard to be honest, and I did at first try getting the trophy from it called 15-minute fight scene. I'm not sure why it's called that when the trophy requires 10 minutes, but what do I know, bro? Oh yeah, and right after that I had enough red orbs from all of that fighting to upgrade every single weapon and magic that I needed to for another trophy pop. And next I fought the last boss for the Boss Batch 3's trophy pop, but the final boss in this batch was a giant fat lady with titties everywhere, and it was disgusting, so I'm just gonna blur the whole screen. I don't even want to see that, and you definitely don't want to. Oh yeah, and then we finally reached the end of the story and got to battle against Zeus. And the fight honestly wasn't that hard, mostly because we got the Blade of Olympus finally, which is the strongest weapon in the game and makes the Blades of Chaos feel like a rubber sword. So yeah, here's the trophy from defeating Zeus. There was still one more story trophy, however, and it popped after a lot of cutscenes explaining the ending of the game and Kratos' next goal, that being to kill every god and take down Olympus. And I thought my goals were high, goddamn. But yeah, here's that final story trophy pop. It is now time to clean up the game and complete the Challenge of Titans, which is the hardest trophy remaining. Not as bad as the first game, however, but still definitely a good challenge. So I actually just jumped right on into the Challenge of Titans because it is suggested to go after that first. But Lord have mercy, it is in my opinion impossible to beat without the Blade of Olympus being fully upgraded, seeing as that is the strongest weapon in the game and honestly kind of insane. So I struggled for an hour and a half and just could not get past this challenge where you had to protect some dude whilst enemies tried to both rail you and him, which is why I went back into the New Game Plus to farm some orbs real fast and fully upgrade the blade. While here I also activated at least 2 urns of power for one of the trophies that I left, and I got it. I then went back into the Challenge of Titans, and I'm not gonna lie, I kind of rage quit right away because it's hard, dude. So I just decided to farm Challenge 1 over and over to get 20 Cyclops eyes for another trophy right here. Alright, well there's only one trophy left now, that being to complete the challenge, of course. And in hindsight, this Challenge of Titans isn't horrible. Yes, it's hard, but it's not impossible, and it just takes a lot of patience along with the best items and methods for each challenge. The only real hard one in the entire challenge of Titans, in my opinion, is challenge 7. That being because you cannot get hit at all throughout the entirety of the fight. And this is also where I think a lot of RNG comes into play, because enemies act differently each time, and you can just get unlucky with one being right by you when finishing a quick time event, meaning you kind of have no chance at dodging them. But overall, this challenge just takes a lot of tries, coping, and self-hatred to complete. Thankfully, I have all of those at hand, so I managed to finish it right here by the skin of my teeth, getting the final trophy of the game in that glorious Platinum Trophy pop. So that was the God of War 2 Platinum Trophy experience, and I hate this game.